Are you serious? Oh, word. And y'all just waited until I did all the shout outs before y'all let me know my mic was muted. Word. Okay. Let me run that back real quick, cause obviously you didn't hear anything I said. So let's take it from the top. What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush, back at it again with another episode of the Just Chillin podcast. I can't believe my mic was muted. I was about 2 minutes into talking, 2 minutes into giving everybody shout outs, and I'm gonna have to do that all over again. So let me get it done real quickly. The guy all the way at the top of the chat whose name is being blocked by my pinned message, which is the link for anybody to call in. Shout out to you, man. You're talking about Watson and the Giants. Shout out to Satvik, Lamar, Mike Nixon. Jay is in here. Sober Party, the heavyweight champion of the world. Woo! Ric Flair, Yuvraj Arjun, Logan is in here. Ian Bryan, Elijah Pratt. I think I got everybody. Levance, what's up, man? Jonathan, how are you all doing? All right. Wolves is in here as well, and Carlos. We gonna get right to the callers. I got a couple dudes back here that I really want to speak to. I haven't spoken to them in a while. Asked them to come on, and definitely they did me a favor, did me a solid. They're gonna call in, and when I put them on, you guys need to go over there, check out the channel, show them some support. They've been showing me support for as long as I can remember on my channel. But before I get to that, you guys see the title: Brian Daboll and Brian Flores, Giants head coach search. You see the question right below me: who is the next head coach? And you see these two guys on the side right here, right? That's Flores, Daboll. They've been the ones with the most rumors, the most talk about surrounding them. They've been the ones that I guess you could call the front runners. But we've also interviewed Dan Quinn. We've also interviewed Leslie Frazier, who I hope is out the running after what happened with the Bills on Sunday. We've also interviewed Lou from the Bengals. I think he was the Bengals defensive coordinator, and he was with the Giants in 2018 as our defensive backs coach. We've interviewed a lot of people, but of course the point of this is to get your thoughts. And without further ado, I'm gonna get the first caller on here. It's my guy Logan. You guys need to go over to LGZ Productions. I mean, he's been commenting in chat, so you can just go right ahead over and sub him up. Let me pop him on the stream, and of course let me I think it's time for me to end that background music that you guys have been listening to while I was talking. So Logan, what's up, man? How you doing? It's been a minute, bro.
It's been a minute, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. All things considered. So you're rocking the
Good.
Giants. I got the green screen going. Your green screen is better than mine because I still can't figure mine out.
Well, I'm rocking the Giants hat because, yeah,
It's still not grown back, or are you just gonna like continue to roll with it?
well, when you shave your head and it gets to the middle phase of growing back, it gets really itchy, and I'm like, I ain't dealing with this shit, so I just shaved it back off.
Mm. Yeah.
But,
So does that mean you're gonna stay bald forever, or what's up?
we'll figure it out. I'll make a video about that. It'll have emotional in the title, but
Also, pause real quick. This is gonna sound weird, but y'all see Logan's neck? This man been continuing to work out, bro. Remember that one picture he posted months ago of it in the Young Joker's shirt where he was Ock? Bro, let's see the guns, bro. You've been continuing working out, haven't you? Future linebacker of the Giants right there. Look at that, man. Go ahead.
bro, but I mean, I want Brian Daboll personally. I like Brian Flores, but with some of the articles that have been coming out, I'm not too sure about him. What are you thinking? Who do you want as head coach?
So, I don't have anybody in particular that I want over the other because last week I was like all Team Flores last week. I
Hmm.
was 100%. I'm all in on this guy. He's a former head coach, and this was me last week, right? I was all on the
Hmm.
train of I don't want a new head coach. I really want somebody with experience because what we've done is gone. Our past three coaches were all either first or second time head coaches. I don't really count Pat Shermer as a second time head coach because he had like what, a year or two in Cleveland. That was Cleveland when they were like the worst team in football history. So
Yeah.
who would have survived there, right? So I really want to go in the opposite direction, and in my opinion, I thought that Flores showed that he could help turn the team around. But then everything that came out about him came out about him. You know how he may or may not be a head case. How like the way he was running through coaches, like the way he couldn't find a legit offensive coordinator to work with Tua, and that is up to however you guys want to see it. Whether you think Tua is a good quarterback or not, that's up to each person, right? But
Hmm.
a lot of things came out about Flores that kind of diminished the way I looked at him. And at the same time that was happening, like Brian Daboll in the back of my mind kept building up and up and up, especially, with what he did in the playoffs so far. So that's kind of where I am. And then I put a video out today on the rumors that if Daboll was hired, he's looking into getting Don Wink Martindale as our defensive coordinator. And if that's the case, I almost certainly want Daboll to be hired because I think Wink is one of the best, if not the best, defensive coaches in the NFL. It was a surprise when he got let go by the Ravens. And I mean, there's not much else for me to say about him other than just go look at the stats, go look at what he's done in his time in
Yeah.
Baltimore, and you'll know why he's such an attractive candidate right now.
And I was thinking about this, and I wanted to run it by you because I've run it by every person that I've talked to after thinking about this. This is the last year of Lamar Jackson's contract. They didn't give him a fifth-year option. Do you think he could be on another team next year? And if so, what team do you see him fitting?
Go ahead. Would you say repeat that?
I said this is the last year of Lamar Jackson's contract. They haven't given him his fifth-year option. I personally don't think he's going to re-sign with Baltimore. I just have a gut feeling about it.
Why do you say that? You gotta explain that to me because I feel like he's happy in Baltimore. The fans love him. He loves the fans and
Mhm.
all that.
I don't know. It's just there's some things when it comes to football, I just have these gut feelings, and when I get them, I'm usually right. I don't want to toot my own horn, but
Can you just like give us a couple examples though about it? Where the gut
I
feeling has
just
been right?
I don't think John Harbaugh, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think they want to stick with him. I just don't think that Lamar can take a team to a Super Bowl, if I'm being honest with you. And they also
Are
he
you
just
saying that
got
like throughout his career or just with the Ravens right now?
just with the Ravens right now, I don't know if what they're doing with him is the best thing for him, and I also don't know if they're developing his passing correctly. So I see him going to another team possibly. But if he were to, what team do you think he'd fit? I say Tennessee.
I'm first of all, I don't know. I've never really explored the idea of
It's just
Lamar.
hard seeing Lamar not as a Raven.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I could imagine him in any other uniform. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's a tough one, man. And now that you're putting it in my head, I honestly don't know because for as much, like as much flack as Ravens fans give Greg Roman, and he does deserve a good amount of the flack because he's not a great offensive coordinator. At the same time, they've built a offense perfect for Lamar over there in Baltimore. I mean, I don't know where else he'd go. I mean, imagine, I guess, if somehow, some way, Arizona lets go of Kyler Murray or something. Maybe he goes to Arizona because that's another question
Yeah.
that's being brought up. Like, is Kyler Murray the guy in Arizona?
Imagine this storyline. Lamar Jackson signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah.
That would be something else, bro. That would act. Oh, if he signs with the Steelers, you talking about going to a direct rival? I don't think it's happening at all.
Yeah, me
Eh,
neither. I could just picture that though. The headlines would be insane.
let me just give a quick shout out to new people in chat. Joseph, what's
Hmm.
up, man? How you doing? Sober party in here. Antoine, and did see your message earlier, Sutvik. Yeah, thank you for listening to me in the background. We got Double D in the chat. Timothy, what's up? How you doing? And go ahead, man.
Yeah, what's your prediction? There's only one man that can stop us from seeing Jackson Mahomes at the Super Bowl. Do you think the Bengals are gonna pull it off?
Well, if you've seen my tweets, which I'm sure you have, I got
Hmm.
them in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And I got them in the Super Bowl. You look at my bracket, I've been 9-1 so far. The only one I got wrong was that amazing playoff game between the Bills and Chiefs. My God, that was probably not just one of the best playoff games I've ever seen in my life, just one of the best games in general. But I had them being the Bills because I thought the Bills would be an easier matchup for them. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
honest with you. I don't know how they're gonna do against the Chiefs. I think the thing is, I think they could keep up with the Chiefs in terms of scoring. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't go like God mode or something like that, they could
Hmm.
definitely keep up. And Joe Burrow in his own right is a great quarterback that could score as well. It's their offensive line I'm worried about, especially after the game we saw this weekend against Tennessee where they gave up 9 sacks. And it's not
Hmm.
like the Chiefs are known for the pass rush or anything because they have a good defense with a I guess an all right pass rush. But Tennessee wasn't known for their pass rush either, and they got to that man 9 times. So it's definitely that's what I'm worried about.
Watching that game reminded me of the 2011 NFC Championship because he was getting hit
2011,
left and right.
The
and he's
thing
still
is though,
holding
every
off.
time he came back up, and I guess this is kind of speaks to today's games with the way sacks are, which I wish it would
Mhm.
get back to being a little bit more violent. Is that every time he got back up, he definitely looked put together. It wasn't like Eli
Yeah.
jersey half off, helmet, string strap, everything bad. So yeah.
Hmm. But who do you? Because I've been busy with some of my videos and I haven't been able to watch a lot of things. So how are you feeling about this year's upcoming draft? You want? Because my personal opinion, I want Akima Kwanu and Tyler Linderbaum. But what about you?
So yeah, I'm literally the same right now. I wanted a tackle and a tackle and a guard. Well, the guard obviously being Tyler Linderbaum. That's probably the only one I take in
Hmm.
the top 10 pick. I've recently started. I know I've been delayed because usually by now I have my first mock draft out. My bad, guys. It's gonna be about a whole month delayed just because I was busy. So I just what you call it? I just started scouting. I don't know why that word was escaping my mind, and I quickly have kind of shifted my view from my favorite tackle in the class being Evan Neal, and I still think Evan Neal is an amazing, great, can't miss prospect. But I just like Akeem a little bit more. I think
Yeah, same.
Akeem, I think Akeem could be that guy for us. And I know a lot of people they try to put these tackles into like, oh, they're really good at this thing. But I'm like, all the tackles in this class are good all rounders. People try to put Akeem as like, oh, he's the best run stuffer. Not run stuffer, run blocker,
Hmm.
as if to say that he's not good at pass protection, which is obviously not true. He's great at both of those things. Um, but I'll say this, man, even if Evan Neal ends up being the best overall tackle in the sense that he's the first one off the board, uh, we could still get Akeem then. You know what I mean? Like that's the guy I want for us. I wouldn't be mad if we take any of them. It's literally the same exact situation as 2020, where I don't think you could go wrong in terms of tackle, which is funny
Yeah.
because that was just 2 years ago.
And I have a theory about the new regime because normally, normally when a new regime comes in, they're gonna. I mean, you said in your video the other day. Normally, when a new regime comes in, they're going to want to bring in their own quarterback. I just have a funny feeling we're going to take a QB at 5.
Real quick, Logan, can you go into your StreamYard settings and set the audio to 150? Your audio's coming in a bit low,
Okay, I
and
got
then
you.
say that again. Yeah.
Let me get this. Where is it? Audio.
So it would be Cam Mic, the little gearbox,
Yeah, I got it.
audio, yeah, and then
Better?
150. Yeah, that's better.
All
Go
right,
ahead, say
nice.
what you said.
But I was going to say, because you said in your video, normally when a new regime comes in, they want to bring in their own guy. Do you have a feeling, or do you have a. How would you react if we drafted a QB at 5?
I don't. Oh, I really don't want a QB at 5.
Me neither.
I really don't. I feel like that should cover how I'd react about it. But yo, I'm sorry, there is not a single quarterback in this class that is worth taking in the top 10. That's not to say none of these guys could develop and become the future. And this class is really kind of reminding me of the 2017 class. Not in terms of the 2017 class had talents like Deshaun and Patrick Mahomes, but it's reminding me of that class in terms of the quarterbacks that succeeded kind of went to teams that were already built. Like, yeah, I know the Texans are a joke right now, but in 2017, all the Texans were missing was a quarterback, and they got
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
Deshaun. Same thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs were a built team that was ready to go. They had Alex Smith, and they just needed to upgrade that position. That's exactly what they got. So with these quarterbacks, with a guy like Malik Willis in particular, maybe Kenny Pickett, maybe Matt Corral. I don't know. I haven't looked into them too much. Their best chance of success is going to be going to a team that's picker in the later part of the first round. So I would really, I don't know. We're not in a position to be one of those teams. So I don't know how I'd feel if we took a quarterback with the fifth pick. That being said, if we do take a quarterback and it's like we trade back and we get one or something, you know what? Yeah, fine. I'll be fine with that, but not with the fifth pick, man.
Because in my last mock draft, I had us taking Evan Neal and Nakobe Dean because I feel a lot of people are underestimating just how much we need linebacker help because like we're decent at outside linebacker. I mean, obviously Lorenzo Carter's a bum, but Aziz has been doing pretty good this year. But if Blake Martinez doesn't come back well from that injury, I mean, I like Tay Crowder, but do you guys really trust him as an MLB one? Because I don't.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know why we're considering even getting rid of Blake or that's an idea. Like, man, why make that linebacker position hard? Just find the guy next to him. Like we have our MLB one. If that's the case, though, I wouldn't mind Nakobe Dean. And you know who surprisingly has come up as somebody that I would actually consider as a linebacker too? We have a very small sample size of him, but I didn't. Jalen Smith didn't look too bad in the couple games we saw him. You know
It
what I'm
looked
saying?
decent.
Yeah, he looked decent, which is, all things considered, really good when you consider the linebacker play we've had over the past 5 years.
Yeah,
But if there's a way, Joe Shane, keep Blake Martinez, and just go and get that second dude.
I
I
feel
know it's a
you.
valid question, Edward. But if we give Saquon a chance, why not give Blake Martinez a chance to recover? Like, come on now.
Yeah, well, like, I'm not saying I want to get rid of Blake, but
Yeah, no, I'm just
if he can't
responding to that
recover,
question
yeah, I
specifically.
feel you. But yeah, man, that's about it. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a minute. I'm gonna try to make it next week as well.
Hey, man, thank you so much, guys. You see the name of his channel right there, LGZ Productions. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in chat as well. Go
Yeah.
ahead over there, sub him up. Let them know what kind of, what's the name of the shows and stuff you be doing.
I obviously my channel is LGZ Productions. I have a podcast called the Triple Threat Podcast. I do that on my channel. I did episode on one on my channel. Then J Productions used to be Jaden the Champ, and then Nate Talk Sports, and then back to my channel next week. Obviously, I have the Giant Zone podcast every Wednesday night, and that's about it, man. I appreciate you having me on. My second mock draft should be out pretty soon. It should be out pretty soon.
You guys already heard him. He got his first mock draft out. Go ahead over there, check him out. Logan, thanks you for calling in, man, and have a good one.
Yep. Peace.
I see my guy Engraven in the chat. What up, Engraven? How you doing? Hey, man, if you got time, we feeling up to it. That link is pinned right there, bro. Go ahead, call in. You guys should definitely check his channel out. Ravens content creator, but also general NFL content creator, especially if you want to know a little bit more about Wink. I've seen he put out a couple videos about the parting with Wink Martindale and the Ravens. He's going to be your best source for all information on that. Great channel, man. Make sure you guys check him out. I see Fluid in here, Bark Nasty, Wild Child, Joseph. Once again, link is pinned, and let's get the next caller on. What is up, Wolves? How you doing?
What's poppin'? What's cracking?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm playing Cuphead right now, so if I rage, don't act surprised.
Okay.
Uh, so going back to Logan's thing, as a Liberty student, I would not mind at all taking Malik Willis. I watched that guy ball out at all the games I went to.
In Discord, are you the Malik Willis stan?
No, I haven't been on Discord in a second.
Okay, because there's somebody whose name is like Malik Willis season for like the entire season has been that, and I
don't blame
forget who
him.
it is.
I freaking watched like Malik at all those games, and like there was this one game against Middleton. It was homecoming actually, and like they were trying to get a 2-point conversion to make it, I think, like a 21-point game because anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta understand, Liberty's O line is dreadful. Like it makes the Giants O line look like the freaking Dallas Cowboys at their
Mm-hmm.
peak. So just keep that in mind. And that man was running for his life, and he was at the end zone at I want to say the 15-yard line, and he threw a dot to I think his tight end for the 2-pointer.
Mm-hmm. So,
So
where are you saying with Malik Willis is you want to revisit that subject with Logan? I'll ask you what Logan asked me with the 5th overall pick. What would you do with him?
I personally would get him 7th.
7th, if you were to use one of those two. What about if you could trade back like I was suggesting, or do you think he would be gone outside the top 10?
What are potential teams the Giants could trade back with, just to give me an idea?
So let me just pull up the draft order, and we could go through it, and I'll let you know. Let me look this up real quick. NFL draft order. And so after us at 7, you got Atlanta, Denver, the Jets, Washington, Minnesota, Cleveland, Baltimore, Philly 2 times, LA, New Orleans. So I definitely think Atlanta and Denver would both be in play.
Yeah, I was saying more so Denver because if I'm not mistaken, they're further back.
Yeah, they're at the 9th overall. If Washington wasn't in our division, I feel like that would be the perfect trade partner, but obviously I don't think that's gonna happen.
I honestly like Taylor Heineke. This could just be me, but I kind of like Taylor Heineke.
I like Taylor Heineke as well, but it's like, do I see him being the guy that carries them to the promised land? And at the end of the day, that's the goal of every NFL team, right?
True. Again, you have Riverboat Ron as your head coach, so anything could happen.
Minnesota, if they part ways with Kirk Cousins, could be another one right there.
Yeah, I will. So what's Minnesota at?
12.
Okay, and I
But
would
that's
say trade.
that's keeping in mind though the other teams I listed that's ahead of them, right? That's why I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'd go Denver. But if for some reason Atlanta, Denver, and Washington ignore him, then I'll probably go Minnesota.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need insider information for that in order to make a
Yeah.
full decision. But I would say trade the. I'm gonna be pretty bold here. Trade the fifth back with Denver, and then at ninth take Malik Willis, and then at seventh take a lineman. And
Why
because you'll
why
get
the
good
fifth? I was about to say why the fifth instead of the seventh.
because trade value. That's why everyone wants a fifth rather than a seventh.
So let me ask you what the package would have to be for you to trade back.
Where are they now?
Ninth?
Packers are ninth.
No, I
Or
said what
Denver?
would the package be for the
Oh,
for Denver to
I thought
trade
you
up
said
to the fifth,
Packers.
right?
I thought
Yeah,
you
so
said
like
Packers.
it would have to be a couple first round picks, like at least I don't know 2 to 3, I'd say.
I mean, I would honestly be okay with obviously the ninth pick, next year's first round pick, and a couple of second rounders.
That seems kind of cheap going up to a top 5 pick, doesn't it?
Cheap? Well,
Going up to a top.
then
You know what? Let me actually look up. What's the last trade up into a top 5 that I can remember that I guess we could compare this deal to?
I mean, the ninth, next year's first round, and three second rounders across the board.
Yeah,
I mean, I
that's
probably
not too
sound
bad.
stupid right now, but my brain
I'm
is in
not sure. Like I
Cuphead
said, I'd
mode,
have
so
to. None is coming to mind for me to compare it to right now, for some reason.
yeah. Again, I'm in Cuphead mode right now, so I can't really think straight.
Yeah. Let me actually. It's not the same, amount of spots jumped, but let me see. What did the Bills trade up to get Josh Rosen? Let me see.
Josh Rosen.
I mean, Josh Allen. There was 2 trades that night: the Rosen one and the Allen one.
Oh,
Let's
the
see.
Cardinals traded up too? I don't remember that.
Let's see. It cost them 2 players and 6 picks. Are you gonna tell me what 2 players article?
Oh. AJ McCarron? I remember he was on that roster for a second.
Okay, this article is trash. It's not telling me what they traded to get this man. So that's hilarious. Let's go to another article quickly, guys. And if anybody in the chat knows the answer, just drop it in there.
StreamYard chat is talking. CJ saying Colts when they took Nelson and Jets when they took Darnold. Jets traded up too? I do not
But they
remember
were
that either.
like, I think the Colts moved up like what, 1 spot, and the Jets probably 2 or something like that.
I remember when the
Anyway, for some
Bears
reason the internet
traded.
is hiding from me what that Bills trade was, but it was like 6 total picks or something like that, which is kind of crazy. But no, I
Remember
mean,
when
yeah,
the
that's what I'm
Bears
saying.
traded
It's
up one
expensive.
spot for God knows who, Mitch Trubisky? They traded up one whole spot and gave up their entire future.
Yeah. Hey, but you got anything else, Wolves?
No, really. But yeah, Malik Willis. I mean, obviously, if they want a quarterback, I would say Malik Willis. I personally stick with Daniel Jones, but get like a decent backup, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe Trubisky. I mean, maybe as a backup, just like light a
Hey,
fire.
man, Trubisky, a name that a lot of people should be throwing out there that I feel like they're not. Mariota.
Oh, Marcus Mariota. Actually, in one of my Madden sims, Mariota ended up with the Giants. So
As a backup or like as a starter?
as the starter.
Oh, whoa. How did that go?
Well, Giants won the Super Bowl over the Jaguars.
With Marcus Mary. Okay, then yeah, that's Madden for you.
Yeah. But yeah, just light a. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So friggin' Mariota under Jones to light a fire, and if he succeeds, well then, mission accomplished, I guess.
Exactly. I definitely subscribe to the idea of, getting somebody that could challenge Daniel this season at least. But hey, Wolves, thank you for calling in, man. Good luck on Cuphead, and I'll see you later, bro.
Thank you. All right, I'll go.
Oh, my bad, Nate. I meant to click him out, but you're up after this. What up, CJ? How you doing?
Hi. When the Jets moved up to third, because they were 6, Colts were third. Colts were third. I believe the Jets traded their first. I think their first the next year and a couple of thirds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the Colts got when they jumped from third to sixth. Because that was the last notable trade that I can remember as far as the draft goes,
Yeah.
where a team went. I mean, other than with the exception of the Niners, moving from 12 to what was it 3 this past year, where they essentially had to give up. I want to say like 3 number ones and a
Oh,
couple
why
of
didn't I think of the Trey Lance one? Yeah, no, that should be the best one we should compare it to. 9 to 5.
like
Obviously,
you're
that's a
jumping
smaller
from
jump than
5
12
to
to 3, but still.
you're jumping from 5 to 9 though. I don't think in that scenario you would get 3 first rounders. Probably I could definitely see 2 and maybe a couple of seconds, but three first round picks just to move down 4 spots, a little hefty
We'll have
if
to
I'm
see.
being honest.
We'll
All right.
definitely have to see. Real quick, Savik says, "Hey, Kush, do you know that Pat Graham is interviewing Wednesday, Flores Thursday?" I do know that on Patrick Graham. They're doing their due diligence, which I hope is not just for showing it. They're actually just doing their due diligence. By interview a guy at Pat Graham that has head coaching offers last year. I'm not sure if he has any this year, and also somebody that says they would feel comfortable staying to DC here. But go ahead, CJ. What you got to talk about?
No, I was thinking about this all day at work. Once I heard that Daboll had gotten a second interview job. I mean, a second interview with us, and I was thinking to I'm like, okay, all signs are essentially pointing that he's the front runner for the head coaching position,
Ooh,
Daboll.
okay. What up, Lestat?
So I was thinking to myself, well, okay, so if Daboll does get tired, which I presume he will be, what's his coaching staff is going to look like? Because I was thinking about Wink Martindale and why he elected to leave Baltimore after a successful run. I know they
Mm-hmm.
were ranked like 28th in defense, but they had a crap ton of injuries,
Yep.
especially on the
They had
back
a
end.
not just on the defensive side of the football, across that team. That entire
Exactly.
team was injured this year.
They lost all their running backs before the start of this
They
season.
lost their
Rashard Bateman,
quarterback, and then the
obviously
defense, like the entire
Lamar
defense was
Bateman,
injured.
their entire secondary, their entire pass rush was limited. So I'm not. I mean, obviously, I still think Wink Martindale is a great defensive coordinator, but come on now, like I don't even think Belichick or Sean McDermott could work with that type of style when you basically lose like 90% of your starters.
Mm-hmm.
So it had me think less because I think the reason why Wink Martindale got elected to part ways with the Ravens, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that he knows Harbaugh is going to be there for life. Okay, he's gonna be essentially their Andy Reid for the Baltimore Ravens, and they got Greg Roman there. And if memory serves me correct, I believe Greg Roman is the assistant head coach there as well. If memory serves me correct, so my assumption is that Wink Martindale, assuming he doesn't get a head coaching position, I think in all likelihood, wherever he gets landed, I think he's likely to be the new assistant head coach for whatever um team that hires him. So it had me thinking about Daboll as our head coach, potentially Wing Martindale, and who exactly is going to be the OC. I've heard a lot of chatter talking about Ken Dorsey, the quarterback coach for Buffalo. And I hate to break Giants fans' hearts. I don't think he's coming here.
He's probably gonna replace Daboll in Buffalo.
I don't think there's a excuse my language. I don't think there's a snowball chance in hell he leaves. Number one, like you just said, if Daboll leaves, he's going to be the offensive coordinator there. And it's not just the fact that he's going to be the offensive coordinator there. He's going to be elected to be the play caller as well as the assistant head coach to Sean McDermott. Because, with Daboll now coming here, I don't recall with the exception of Mike McCarthy, the offensive minded head coaches, don't they all still do their play calling, do the team's play calling duties? I know Kyle Shanahan still does it. I believe Sean McVay still calls plays. I know Andy Reid still calls plays. I believe Payton, before he hung it up, called plays. So if I'm Ken Dorsey, yeah, I could be promoted to be an offensive coordinator, but at least in Buffalo, I'm going to be the play caller in all likelihood. And
Hmm.
I'm going to be the assistant head, and I'm going to be the assistant head coach. So
Well,
I
I don't know
had me
about the
thinking,
second part, but he'll definitely be the play caller.
yeah, because generally, whenever you have a defensive minded head coach, usually it's the offensive coordinator who is the lead assistant. Belichick's, I believe his lead assistant is Josh McDaniels. Um, obvi- obviously, when Sean McVay, when he first got the Rams job, he had Wade Phillips as his lead assistant. So generally, whenever you have a defensive minded head coach, it's usually offensive coordinator who's the lead assistant. Whenever you
Hmm.
have a defensive minded head coach, whenever you have an offensive minded head coach, it's the defensive coordinator who's like the top assistant. So it had me thinking, okay, if it's not Ken Dorsey, which I don't think it will be, who's most likely gonna get who's most likely is gonna be um Daboll's quarterback coach, underneath him.
Are you asking that, or is that a
Yeah,
rhetorical
yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah. No, no, I'm asking everyone.
Okay, so I have no idea. I can't answer that. There's a lot of names out there. Mike Kafka, from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the current Kansas City Chiefs quarterbacks coach. He's been in talks of being a possible offensive coordinator. In terms of the offensive coordinator like realm of things, this time around, the guys that are thought to be interviewed, or the guys that people are speculating going to interview for that position. It's a lot of quarterbacks coach. Not a lot of offensive coordinators seem to be making a lateral move to just be another offensive coordinator somewhere else. So you got guys like Kafka. Obviously, Nate, he's been on channel several times. He's talked about Pep Hamilton from the Texans, but Pep has been an offensive coordinator several times before in his career. There's the quarterbacks coach of the Saints as well. So I have no idea who's gonna end up being that position for us, the OC. The DC though, there's been a lot of names, and we've interviewed a lot of defensive minded head coaches that I could see also making a lateral move if that's the thing. Obviously, in my vid today, I talked about Wink Martindale. There's also Vic Fangio, but I think Fangio, in a funny twist of irony, if Martindale comes here, I think Fangio is actually gonna go to replace his job at the Ravens, because I feel like he would want to play under a veteran coaching staff, or veteran coach at least, with a team like that, at least based off of his more recent moves as a coach. There's
Yeah.
the defensive coordinator from the Niners, but I think he's gonna stick with the Niners. There's Gerard Mayo from the Patriots. I think he's the linebackers coach and things like that. I can't answer any question right now when it comes to that. I could just list off names.
Yeah. And that's why I'm just about to start I'm just about to start researching from my mock draft. I've done a little bit of homework on more so I've done a little bit of homework on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to be quite honest, it's a small spoiler for my first mock. Probably after uh the championship weekend. Maybe it's because of the lack of homework that I've done, but I'm sorry, but outside of Hutcherson and Thibodeau, I don't think that there's an edge rusher in this draft worth top 10. Like I like a lot of the other edge rushers. I like a Jabo a ton. George Karlaftis is my guy. And there are other couple of pass rushers that I'm really into. But barring a big trade down, Devin Lloyd I like, but I have a feeling this is entirely based on whatever comp picks that we get once we let some of our boys go.
Mm-hmm.
I think I already have um an answer as far as what do we do um at the middle linebacker spot long term after Blake Martinez. So my thought process is this: unless we get like unless I get like a really good trade offer for the 7th pick, I don't care if this position has never been taken in the top 10. I'm taking Lindenbaum. I'm taking Tyler Linderbaum almost all day, every day. He is my number 2 offensive lineman, period, in this draft. Probably only behind Charles Cross is my number 1 offensive tackle as of right now. Nate convinced me I love this kid's technical ability. Uh perfect arm, perfect arm links for a tackle. Just so smooth with his technique and his footwork. As of right now, watching film on him, he's my number 1 tackle and number 1 offensive lineman. Tyler Linderbaum. I just brought it up with Quinn Nelson. Listen, among all the top 10 picks from that 2018 draft, Quentin Nelson was by far and away the best value pick. By far and away. Quentin Nelson, I mean, Quentin Nelson, as we all see now, the kid is going to be a perennial all pro for the next decade if he stays healthy. That's exactly what I see potentially out of Tyler Linderbaum. If this kid stays healthy, he has the potential to be a perennial all pro for the next decade. I don't care what position if that's the, in that matter is. If you're a perennial all pro for the next decade, you're more than worth a top 10 pick. And so if I'm the Giants going into this draft, barring a major trade offer, which by the way I would love to get, I would love to trade back from 7. Um, barring a major trade offer, if I'm the Giants, I'm sticking at 5. I'm sticking at 5 and 7, and I'm taking whoever I think are the 2 best O linemen in this draft. Now, obviously, if they fall in love with an edge rusher, then by all means. Um, as of right now, I have about 2 to 3 offensive linemen that I think is going to go in the top 10. Pass rushers, only 2. And unfortunately, they're probably going to be the first 2 picks in Hutchinson and Thibodeau. But not to, because I don't think I've ever done this before, not to plug my own stuff. And
Go ahead. Feel free. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've taken a big hiatus from my show, CJ Talk Sports, as the link is right here. I've been taking a big hiatus from my show since the new year. I'm going to be starting it back up again. With with brand new themed shows throughout the week. Next this Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be streaming the championship. I'm going to be streaming the championship conference games with either Logan and Jaden this Monday. I'm going to be doing my undisputed reactions. I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite topics from Skip and Shannon's show. Tuesdays I'm going to be reacting to my favorite first take and first things first options. This Wednesday I officially give my Super Bowl picks. Excuse the profanity. Screw Ryan Tannehill. But thank you, Kush. Thank you, Kush, for having me on. And for any movie fans, I am doing a CJ Talks Movies movie talk episode this Friday. I'm going to be recapping all of my favorite TV shows / movies from 2021, as well as previewing some of my most anticipated movies of 2022, as well as a Scream spoiler review. So if you're interested in seeing my review for the new Scream movie, hop on to CJ Talks Movies, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hey,
Later, Kush.
CJ, man, thank you for calling in, bro. Have a good one, guys. You see his link if you want to check him out. Go ahead and do that. Have a good one, man.
Kush, you are welcome to hop on too. I promise Salma Hayek will be there.
Who will be there?
And I promise Salma Hayek will be there.
I doubt it.
And all.
I doubt it. Hey, have a good one, man.
You too, Kush. Bye-bye.
Before I get Nate on here, then we got Mac, the Giants fan. Benny, if you need to come on earlier, let me know. I know sometimes you might need to come on early, but I do have Hit Squad after Mac and then Benny. So real quick, let me give a shout out to everybody in chat. We got 48 people in here. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. We got 31 likes right now on my screen. That should be matching the view count. So shout out to everybody in here. I see Lestat, Walton, Christian, Kalan, Blue Wave, Crazy D, Scorpio, Emperor King, Hit Squad himself is in chat. What up, man? Big Blue 91, AJ Nix, Vets, the Get Back with Ashton. What up, Ash? How are you doing? Open Minds. And I'll read a couple comments real quick. Blue Wave says, I don't understand people looking for a replacement for DJ this year. He's cheap compared to what the backups in the market today. Roll with DJ, see what happens. I agree with you because I feel like the best way to move forward is to keep DJ because of his cheap contract. I think it's like $8 million. Have him be the bridge / he also gets another chance, I guess, behind a good O-line to show us what he can do. Although I believe he's shown us what he can do. But just use him as the bridge quarterback instead of going out there and get a bridge quarterback. And then there was another comment that I want to see. I think Open Minds, he says, I honestly don't want Daboll as head coach. We need someone with experience. In his 20 years experience, he only came into the head coaching discussion once he had Allen, and that's 2 good years. That's it. Real quick, I'll say you're not wrong technically as into when he came into the head coaching discussion. However, what we do need to keep in mind is that entire offense in Buffalo was built, managed, and handled by him. Everything that deals with the offense is him, including the development of Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen became Josh Allen because he developed into that player we know today. And yes, a lot of that has to do with raw talent and athleticism, but some credit does need to go to Daboll. And also, of course, the quarterback coach, Ken Dorsey. There's a reason Ken Dorsey's name is being circulated. Some credit needs to go to these coaches, though. And what I will say is Stephon Diggs is an absolute monster, but past Diggs on that roster, they don't have like the greatest wide receivers, and it's one of the greatest offenses in the NFL. Same thing with the running back position. Devin Singletary is like an all right and sometimes bad running back. They got Cole Beasley, who's a slot guy. You know, I mean, like, what has Cole Beasley? Let's be honest here. What has Cole Beasley done in his career, bro? Even when he was with the Cowboys, their third option is Dawson Knox, their tight end, and it was their fourth option that went off this past weekend, Gabriel Davis. I'm just putting that out there. You know what I'm saying? So let's get Nate on here, bro. How you doing, man?
What's up, Kush?
What up?
Just to say, I think we need to drop a linebacker, to be honest, because our depth at linebacker isn't the best, and I just think we need that elite linebacker to help us up the middle because our defensive line is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we need more depth at linebacker, and then I think we just need it in the first round. I just think we need to go edge, offensive line, and then the second round get a linebacker. I just think that's what we have to do to get us at least some value.
So
at those
real
picks.
quick, just give me what your first 5 picks would be, because we got 2 picks in the first, I think 1 in the second, and then 2 in the third. Just position wise.
All right, first I'll go tackle, and if Kwanu's there, I'll take a Kwanu 5, and then 7 I would at edge. I'll probably take Karlaftis, and then the second round I think Harris will probably be there, so I'll take Harris in the second. Third, I'll probably go offensive line and get a guard. So at that point at guard, I'll probably take I'll say if Ed Reed makes it to the third, I'm taking him. And then 4th, I'll say defensive tackle. And I would probably go with that there. If it's a 7, I'll probably go with Travis Jones from Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5th, I would probably go center. And I'll probably wait for someone like Jurings and those guys later on.
Okay, so like here's my 5, right? I'm kind of surprised
Yeah.
doing a defensive tackle there, not gonna lie to you. So this would be my 5. It will be tackle, guard, or edge, which means the
Yeah.
third pick would be edge or guard, right? So you could switch
Yeah.
those second and third. With my third pick, I'm going middle linebacker. No, that's the fourth one. What am I saying? Yeah, with my fourth
Yeah.
pick, I'll go middle linebacker. And with the fifth one, I'm really stuck. Part of me wants to go a running back in the third round, and part of me wants to go a tight end in the third round. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm considering tight end, but I just think we need more. I think we just need more needs than tight end
Mm-hmm.
because we could just next if we're going later round, there's some later round decent tight ends, so we can always get someone later because I think one of these tight ends are probably going to drop because people, it's like George Kittle. No one knew who George Kittle was until the draft started. So
And shout out to Satvik. Thank you for tuning in, man. He says he's gonna be out. But yeah, with that draft thing, I mean, I'd be fine with taking a linebacker. I definitely want one. I haven't looked into any
yeah,
linebackers that much yet. Like I mentioned earlier, just getting started on my scouting stuff. So anybody in particular, maybe in the second or third round, you have in mind that you want to share with us about?
yeah, I'll probably and Brandon Smith is someone from Penn State. He played next to Parsons when he was there, so I'm definitely intrigued about him because he's been decent. He had a good season this year, and and then Walker from Georgia. He's decent. He's not like the best player in the world, but he's definitely going to be someone we can get in the second or third round who can be a really good piece. He he played at Georgia. The Giants love Georgia players, so he could be an option. And I really do think if it's a possibility, we'll probably get an edge in the second. I think that's the most obvious pick because if they go, I think they'll probably, in my opinion, I think with Shane they'll probably go line, and then edge in the second. So I'm definitely interested in someone like Cameron Thomas if he makes it to the second. Later guys who already have that already high ceiling, just needs a little bit more tweaking in their
Mm-hmm.
technique.
And then I'll say this. I think somebody earlier in the chat said something along the lines of they can't see the new GM Joe Shane going to linemen. I'd say, well, I'm not really sure how we could see that. We have yet to see him head a draft.
Yeah.
But one thing in particular that people forget is that Buffalo, they always tackled their biggest position in need. In the past 2 drafts, their biggest position in need has been the edge position, pass rush. And that's exactly what they did. They tackled, they got AJ Epineza in 2020 in the second round, and then they got Greg Rousseau with their first round pick this year. And then I still believe they went back and dipped back into the edge
Yeah.
class and got somebody else later on.
Yeah, and that's why I'm explaining that too, because I think what Shane probably wants to do, and what he said in his like message thing that he had on the Twitter page was he wants to get depth, and that's what I'm really intrigued because we need that offensive line. He said that offensive line is his most important thing on this team, which should be because our offensive line is just made of a high school offensive lineman, so we definitely need offensive linemen. I think that's going to be the biggest key to see what he does because if we don't get any offensive linemen, we're screwed again. Like this is going to be until we drop offensive linemen, we need to keep on saying we need offensive linemen because there's no way this team's winning without our offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we just get, I think we definitely need a tackle, a right tackle. I think we're good at left tackle, guard. We definitely need a guard, a center. We definitely need a center because I don't think Gates is going to be back. So we think we're probably going to drop the center. And then a guard and probably another guard because I don't trust them. So I think if they want to get, I think there's a possibility where we get 4 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a
Shane is
lot.
just like, yeah,
That's a lot.
I'm just saying, like, if it's like depth, he's like saying depth, but just get depth. Let's get the offensive line just
Let's
done. And then
let's
we
not
just keep
forget
on
free
going.
agency is a thing now, though.
Yeah, that's what I just think we need offensive line so bad.
And so
That
let me I don't mean to cut you off, but let me actually do
Yeah.
stop you right there because let's take a step back from the draft. I don't mind talking about the draft, but before any of these, decisions are made, it would definitely have input from whoever the head coach is. So let's take a
Yeah.
step back and like, who is or who do you think is going to be the head coach throughout all of this
I'm gonna go Daboll because I just think the connection with Shane, all that he was in the building today, so
for his
definitely
second
excited.
interview?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. But I think it could be Flores because Flores is gonna be definitely in the building too. So it's definitely a possibility for that too.
What do you think about the other guys that we've already interviewed? Dan Quinn, Lou, the defensive coordinator. I keep forgetting his last name from the Bengals. We
Yeah.
interviewed Leslie Frazier, but I hope his candidacy is invalid after
Yeah.
with the Bills' defense collapse they had on Sunday. Any thought into those guys? I feel like Giants fans. I'm not saying I think Dan Quinn has a great shot at the job or anything like that. I'm just saying they
Mhm.
probably shut the man down too quickly because of whatever preconceived notion they have about him, just because he was with the Cowboys and 28-3 and whatnot. But he's one of the best coaching candidates out there for the job.
Yeah, I definitely see. I'm not gonna say yeah. He's definitely not my first, second, or third candidate, but he's definitely someone who is a. The resume says he's a really good candidate, so
He's
I'm
accomplished.
intrigued on Quinn to be honest. But
Yeah.
I don't. I want to see us just get us another candidate because I don't see the other candidates besides Daboll and Flores. Those are the honestly the 1, 2 guys we have right now. It's been what we
hmm
talked about for the last week. So I think they're probably gonna give another guy a shot too. And I just think I think I think it's a possibility, and I think this is actually a possibility that we interview Dorsey. I could see that happening because they could just say, "Yeah, Bill's guy. Let's just bring him in and just bring his stock up, and then we get him as the coordinator." Because if they just
Well,
do
it,
that and
it it
say
would all
interview,
depend on what Ken Dorsey wants, right? Like CJ earlier
yeah,
brought up a very good point. If play calling or I guess recognition or something like that is very important to him, then play calling is going to be important to him, and he's going to get
yeah,
that in Buffalo. He's not going to get that over here in New York. Like I definitely think Daboll is going to be the one handling play calling if he's the head coach.
yeah. So I'm definitely interested. I want the guy from the Chiefs. So I want that guy because he's someone who's when working with Mahomes, he's been probably him and Reed have been making Mahomes a really good quarterback with Eric Bieniemy too. That's the staff they have
Kafka
over
from the
there is
Chiefs,
great.
right?
Yeah, I
I
like
think
him a
it's
lot.
Mike. I think it's Mike Kafka. I keep forgetting the first name. I just remember the last name. I don't know why it's
Yeah,
memorable last name. What up, Luann? How you doing?
I just think he's probably the favorite right now because there's only been like a couple candidates have been throwing out there. So right now I think the coordinator is probably the favorite right now with nothing that we know is probably Dorsey because the connection to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And so then now moving forward, I guess we could get back to the draft and whatnot with with the tandem of Shane and Dable. Unless you got
Um
any other question.
just I'm just probably just saying Dable is probably gonna get us. I think he's definitely gonna be more. He definitely. I think with the staff that we have, we have to see what the staff he brings in. I don't believe that Martindale is gonna be here. I'm not saying it's a far shot that he could be here, but I just don't see it happening because they're probably gonna be a better. He's probably gonna get a better offer than he has right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be a head coaching job because there's with the Saints being with Payne retiring today, the Saints could be an option for him. And if they
Mm-hmm.
want to interview him, there is our shots.
Yeah, and then speaking of the Saints, Sean Payton kind of retired, either retired or stepped down, I think it was.
Yeah.
I see Luann saying we should get him. I think that man's gonna take some time away from football. I'm not sure if he's retired for good, but he definitely looks like he wants to take at least a year away from the sport, just based off of his last press conference.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think he could. I think he doesn't. I think he probably wants to be more where he used to be. I just don't think he's going to be. I think he could be a good coordinator, but I think now he probably just wants to be a coordinator. To be honest, I think he doesn't want to be the head coach because he's. Let's be honest, he's getting older by the year, so he's definitely not going to say I want to be a because he would have stayed with the Saints if he wanted to still be the head coach
I,
because they
I'm
or
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that one. I don't think age would have anything to do with it.
no, I'm just meaning if he would have wanted to stay with the Saints as the head coach, he probably would have stayed with them for another season to see what he had. Because to be
That doesn't.
honest,
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't want to be a head coach in the future. Just the
yeah,
relationship
that's
between Peyton and the Saints has been straight for a couple of years now.
that's what I mean. I think he'll probably, if he wanted to be the head coach still, I think he's just probably going to take football out of his life for probably years because I don't think he's going to be coming back next year or the next year. I think this is probably going to be his retirement, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's honestly done with football.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if the only way he'll be back is probably with a coordinator job. But
I mean, I don't know. I'm still gonna disagree with that. I could see him coming back in a year, kind of like how Mike McCarthy took that year break and then came back and was the head of
yeah,
the Cowboys. But yeah, anything else you got for me, Nate? You guys know where to find them. It's right there. Anybody that pops on tonight, it's their name is literally where you can find them
yeah,
on YouTube as well. And Nate, he is a co-host with a caller from earlier, Logan from LGZ. So go ahead, man.
yeah. You guys know they talk sports, just talks everything New York sports. That's basically what you guys can just follow me at.
So you talk the Jets as well?
No,
I was about to say, gonna need
that's
to
New
change
Jersey.
that. Gonna need to change that tagline then, my boy.
That's New Jersey, not
So
New
do you
York.
talk the Nets?
No.
Okay. Do you talk the Mets?
No. How
All
many
right then. Respectful.
Yankees,
You know what I'm
Giants,
saying? So he's
Knicks.
talking the real New York sports guys.
Yeah. Besides the
Yeah.
Giants, they're New Jersey. It's
But any last thoughts, man?
yeah, just thanks for having me on, Kush.
Hey, no problem. Have a good one, Nate.
All right, peace.
And then next up, I've been waiting to get this man on for a couple weeks now. Mac is underrated YouTuber. Same thing with Hit Squad that's gonna be right up after him. You guys definitely need to go over there, check out both of their channels. But every time this man calls in, he got something good to say. So let's see what it is. What up, Mac? How you doing, bro?
What's going on, Kush, man? But yeah, I'm just excited for new beginnings, brother. Just excited for the new beginnings, man. Get some fresh eyes in here, try to change this thing around because it's been really bad for a really long time, and I'm just excited, man, to see what happens. It's looking like, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be Daboll's going to be the guy. I mean, right now, that's what it would appear to be, but you still never know. Got a couple more guys to take a look at.
So
But
before we get to that head coach, because since it's been a minute since we got to speak, I want to hear your thoughts on the Shane hire and that whole process and whatnot.
you said, excuse, on who's hire? I'm sorry.
So
Oh,
Joe
Joe
being
Shane
hired,
hire.
yeah, and then like the process, like we casted a wide net. I think it was about a 2 week search or 1.5 week search, and then he got hired.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, he's a guy. He's a proven winner, man. He's proven showing the ability to turn a franchise around. To be quite frank, or help at least contribute to turning the franchise around. So, and he's also just not a New York Giant retread. That's one of my big. That was one of my biggest things going into this off season with all the new things happening. As long as we didn't bring in a bunch of guys that were just once again old school New York Giant guys that were going to come in and do things the New York Giant way. You know,
I was about to say, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we got some new people in the chat tonight, so I'm not sure how they're gonna react to this. But guys, the Giant way has been dead for a good 12 years, maybe. If you go back to 2011 with Eli, that wasn't the Giants way that won that Super Bowl. That was a passing team that won that Super Bowl.
Absolutely. So I'm just excited like for everything that's getting ready to happen this off season, man. And I just want to hopefully like I agree with CJ, man, with that offensive line. It starts up front, man. We gotta build this offensive line because without that, we won't be able to get anything accomplished. And I'm a big Leonard Baum guy as well, man. I don't care if he plays center or not, man. I feel like we got to find a way to get this guy in this draft, man, because I think I agree with CJ when I say he's generational talent. I believe on the offensive line. I think he can come
So do
in
you view
and
him
be.
like literally and metaphorically as like the Quentin Nelson of this class?
I absolutely do. I feel like he can come in and be an instant leader right away on the offensive line, and really just change things around and actually start to instill some real culture on this O line. And in the event that somebody like Nick Gates is able to go for us next year, maybe he can come back and go at his more natural position of guard anyway, and that's probably better off for him. It's probably better off for him and our offensive line when it's all said and done because he's also a leader out there as well. But that's what this offensive line lacked this year. Once he went down, that there was just no leader on this offensive line to really hold things together, man. So I'm just excited.
It's not only the center position is so, I don't know if underrated is the right word or underappreciated, but people don't realize I think it's the second most important position on the line. And I've said this several times before. If you could lock down 3 out of the 5 positions on the line, you're gonna have a good offensive line. You don't necessarily need all 5, but you definitely need 3 out of them. That's the 2 tackles and the center. And you got the 2 tackles for, just the immediate protection, and that center in between is the anchor. He's the guy that's like communicating directly with the QB to the rest of the line, things like that. He calls out, the mic and stuff like that sometimes. He's the guy that's snapping the ball. He has the closest relationship to the quarterback, I guess I'll say. But also, if you got the center and the 2 outside guys locked down, if you got 2 mediocre to bad guys on the inside, they'll that could be covered up by the play of the center and whichever tackle it is. And that's just why I'm like, it's an underappreciated spot. But I'm going to say something to you right now, because Creed Humphrey was the best center in last year's draft class, and that man dropped. Is there any way you could see Tyler Linderbaum dropping? Because my whole spiel there just now isn't just that it's underappreciated by fans, but you see how teams draft as well. Teams definitely view the center position not as something that you draft top 10, at least very, very rarely in NFL history. And by the way, shout out to Vibes in the chat. Y'all definitely need to check that man out on Twitter and on YouTube. He's with the New York Giants Revival. Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with what you said. It's a very underappreciated position, and like you said, it's a very important position on that offensive line. You said he's responsible for all the communication, and I think Linderbaum is a kind of talent. I can't see him dropping. He's not going to drop like Creed Humphreys did. That's definitely not going to happen. He's definitely not dropping.
Would you say Creed Humphrey dropping was like kind of an outlier? Like he should have gone higher? Like we all know he should have gone higher, but would you say it was an outlier, or was that just the NFL doing what the NFL does?
NFL doing what the NFL does, absolutely. I think it's one of those positions where people kind of look at like, well, we can grab a center. It's gonna center. He'll be there. It's the center. You know what I mean? I'm so high on this kid Linderbaum, man. He's a mauler. He's, like I said, he's just be an instant leader, man. I just really feel like we need to figure out a way, one way or another, to make sure he's one of our draft picks in April, man. This kid will actually absolutely change the culture on this offensive line, man.
And you were talking. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were
gonna say, and that's just one. That'll be that. I mean, he's just one piece, obviously. But like I said, I already feel pretty good about Andrew Thomas, his development this past season, man. I think he was actually one shining star on a very poor offensive line.
He's the only offensive lineman. Let's keep it real. All right, let's go through the offensive line from last year. Will Hernandez is probably gone or should be gone. I've never seen somebody just start off so well in the rookie year. He had a great rookie year, and then it just got worse and worse and worse every single year after. And I have no idea how. He lost weight, switched to the other side of the line, and nothing changed. Like he was just bad out there. So he's gone, right? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely gone. I can't see us investing any money in Will Hernandez, man. Like you just said, he's instead of ascending, he's been descending. Mm-hmm. Every year of his career. He's just, like you said, got progressively worse. And there's no way you can invest any more money in him.
You go to what was supposed to be our center in Nick Gates. Prayers up to Nick Gates. When he got that injury, there was reports saying it could knock him out for 2, not even just 1 year. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what Nick Gates' future with the Giants is just off of that injury alone. If he comes back though, put him back at guard. That's where he plays the best. Hands down. I know he was a good center. Giants fans kind of overrated him a little bit. I'm not trying to anger anybody. He was serviceable. The only reason, they were out here calling him, one of the best centers in the league is because he was tough. He stood up to Aaron Donald and things like that. Toughness goes so far. Put him back at the guard if he comes back. But honestly, once again, depending on how bad that injury is, that center position is a big question mark. Same thing for the right guard. I mean, I like Matt Skura. But I could admit that my like for Matt Skura was just because he was a dude that was performing average on one of the worst lines in the league. So,
yeah, you just need to clean it all up. I mean, like I said, I only actually feel good about Andrew Thomas. I know realistically, there's going to be a couple other guys that are going to come back. I mean, it's just the nature of the business. I mean, you need depth, so to speak. But that's what they need to come back as. They need to come back as depth. Those guys can't.
Yeah, like we saw Pert for the first time this year, or the second time, because we saw him in his rookie year. we all saw that this man's gonna be depth. Listen, it's not necessarily a bad thing. He was a project to begin with, but I think we could all agree Matt Peart should not be starting at right tackle next year.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I did have a question for you about the in light of the Kansas City and Buffalo game on Sunday, man. How do you feel about do you feel like the NFL should maybe address the overtime rules again, man, and make some changes, bro?
All right, so remind me when I answer this question to answer a couple things from chat that caught my eye, right? So this overtime rule, I always I wasn't on YouTube in 2018, right? Or was it 28? Yeah, 2018 when the Chiefs were the one that got screwed over by the overtime rule. I don't think I wasn't on YouTube then. I began my YouTube journey in February of 2019. So I couldn't. You guys don't have any video of me saying it, but I always hated the NFL overtime rules. I always thought they should have went the way college football does it. I forgot what the time period to give it is, but it's like every other sports overtime rule. It's literally just an extension of the game, and you play out until that time period is done. For anybody that watches college football like that, let me know. Is it a 5-minute or 10-minute time period? Mac, do you know?
College football?
Yeah.
I believe they actually just line the guys up right on the 25-yard line or something like that. They just set them up in the field goal range basically, and it's almost a matter of pretty much who can score a touchdown first and stop the other team from scoring a touchdown basically. Because unless they've changed, I don't think they've changed it.
But so what in the world am I thinking about? Am I thinking something like from the XFL or something? Either way, what I want is for it to be like every other major sport in the world, where it's just like they give you a set time period and you just continue to play the game. Whoever scored the most in that set time period, and just it's literally just an extension of the game, man. Simple as that. I feel like that should be it. I feel like that should have been it for a while now. I honestly don't know why that was never it.
I feel like even it can either go that way, because I agree with that, either like you said, an extension of the game and just play the 10-minute quarter out, and whoever wins, or at the very least, both teams definitely need to touch that football no matter what. Both offenses absolutely should get an opportunity to touch that football no matter what, because you pretty much take a great game like that and put it in the hands of a coin toss, because you're not going to convince me if Buffalo won that coin toss that they wouldn't have done the exact same thing. It's just go right downfield and score a touchdown and win the game. So
another one they could consider is right now it's literally who scores a touchdown first. They could just make it whoever scores 2 touchdowns first. So that way it's not a 10-minute period. It's not extra long or whatever. If that's the case, the NFL is considering, which I doubt because they love money. More time means more people watching. But like it could literally be whoever scores 2 touchdowns first. That guarantees both teams touch the football. Or well, actually, yeah, it does guarantee that both teams touch the football at least one time. And then it's just after that, it's like, then is when the defense comes into play and stuff like that.
Yeah, but something needs to be done. Because could you imagine a Super Bowl ending that way, man? People would be angry, man. Super Bowl ended in that kind of way, especially after those last couple minutes of that game. We'll probably, as NFL fans, never see anything like that again. Like those last couple minutes of that football game on Sunday. It's absolutely epic.
One of the best playoff games and football games in general that we've seen, man.
Absolutely. I felt so bad for Josh Allen, man. You should never have a game like that and have to go up to the podium after the game as the losing quarterback, man, after a game like that. I mean, and shout out to Gabriel Davis as well, man. That kid played the game of his life. Absolutely just lit it up, those 4 touchdown catches, man.
Mm-hmm. So let me get back to the chat real quick. There was a couple things here. Let me see. I think it's May the 4th. He says, if Saquon never stopped dancing, it won't matter who we get. Saquon has to stop trying to bounce outside. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But also, like, a good offensive line is going to help out whoever the running back is for sure. I agree with both sides of the argument here, basically. What about you, Mac?
I do too. I absolutely agree with both sides. But at the same time, maybe that dancing is a little bit extra because he just literally never has any holes to run up into.
Yeah, even at Penn State, the guy's never had a good O-line. Like, even at Penn State, it wasn't exactly the best line he was running behind.
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't. But I think when we get this offensive line better, man, we'll see a much better version of Saquon Barkley as well, man. So
that brings me to 2 questions I got for you, right? Like, what would you do with Saquon, and what would you do with Daniel moving forward?
See, I still believe in Saquon, but I believe in the talent in Saquon Barkley. I know what my eyes saw him do his rookie season when he was healthy for the whole year. So I believe in that talent, and I'm not going. I can't waver from that. Daniel Jones, on the other hand, it's. I believe this kid does have some ability. I'm just not sure if you're ever going to get the best version of Daniel Jones in New York, man. I'm just not sure, man, at this point. At this point in time, because the kid just looks shell shocked out there sometimes, man. And then he just he continues to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. I just don't understand. I just don't understand what he's thinking sometimes, man. Like when you see like that interception he threw in Tampa Bay, just throw the ball across the field, throw the ball across the field to a defensive lineman, but like you can't have mistakes like that, man. And Daniel Jones hasn't shown. He also can't protect himself either, man. He doesn't know how to protect himself when he runs. He's tries to take on linebackers, dude. You're supposed to be you're the quarterback, the starting quarterback. You can't go out there trying to run over linebackers, man. You gotta like learn how to slide. He has to be able to make better decisions, man. I'm not so sure. I think situation we're in this year with the state of the quarterbacks coming out in this particular draft class, I'm definitely on board with probably hanging on to Daniel Jones for another year at this point because I think he's better than what's coming out in this particular draft. But with that being said, I'm not so sure if he's going to be the guy long term going forward, man.
I can't do nothing but agree with everything you just said. Down to like, I would keep him this year. I said it earlier, the contract. If you want a bridge quarterback, you got in DJ. You kill two birds with one stone, man. He has another chance with hopefully a fixed O line or better O line to do something, work with something. And if he doesn't, if he like continues to show us that he doesn't have what it takes to be a franchise QB, then he served the year as a very, very cheap, like bridge to whoever we're gonna replace him with. So I feel like it's fair to all sides, fair to all parties. I made a video on it yesterday. I just posted a link to it in chat. Um, there's Daniel Jones has simultaneously been dealt like I feel the worst hand in football for any young quarterback with like one of the worst, if not the worst, lines. His weapons are always injured. Still to this day, I can't call if there is a game where all of them were healthy and played one, quarter together. In addition to that, he's been saddled with some of the worst coaching. Pat Shermer was a great offensive coach that was great for Daniel, but was a bad head coach that was bad for the team. So his team suffered. Joe Judge, we just came out of Joe Judge, and I've said this multiple times. I feel like the Giants kind of killed Daniel Jones's career potential because I feel like he would have been a gunslinging type quarterback, at least based off of what we saw his rookie year and from what we saw in Duke. But they tried and turned him into a game manager these past 2 years, and that really did a lot to hurt what could be his potential ceiling. But Mac, let me get your last couple thoughts, man. Hit Squad, I know I said you were next, but Benny, he has to go. He has to go to bed soon, so I'm gonna pop him on. I hope that's fine. Get the young guy on, and then I'll get you on, bro. And then Vibes just popped in. Vibes, if you got time after all of that, I'll pop you on, bro. But let me know in the private chat. Yeah, let me get your thoughts on that, Mac.
Oh, you said get my thoughts on what? I'm sorry.
Basically, what I was saying with Daniel, with like the worst hand dealt,
absolutely.
had nothing going for him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree, man. He definitely. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much why I said I think you're not going to really be able to see the best Daniel Jones here in New York now. I think we've kind of all but ruined this kid, man, in a sense that, like you just said, he's just had it's been besides his own personal issues. I mean, he's dealing with his own injuries and things like that. Like you said, he's never. Only time he's had his whole complete separate set of weapons, somebody still goes down, like you said, within a quarter of the game or something like that. It's like he's never been able to just complete a game and have everybody out there all at once. I mean, it's. I think back to the Dallas game, the first Dallas game. First Saquon gets injured, then what? Then Kenny Galladay gets hurt. Then he gets hurt his damn self. It's like I don't.
And we still don't know what's up with his neck, which I also pointed out in that video.
Which that's also problematic because apparently, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because quarterbacks don't get hit in practice anyway. But he's not even clear for like contact until like August or something like that. I mean, I guess he wouldn't be getting hit before then anyway, realistically. But at the same time, That's a neck injury is something that you got to really be, like you
Very
said, extra
serious.
careful with.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's your life you're
everybody's
playing with.
yeah, everybody can't get. I don't know what treatment Peyton Manning got, whatever he did that made, got him okay enough to come back out there and complete and finish his career off after the next surgery. But at the same time, yeah, I agree. I do agree 100% with you, man. Daniel Jones has been dealt like a lot of bad cards here, man. But it's the nature of the beast too sometimes, and it also maybe points another reason why he's not the guy because there's other guys that might have had the ability to shake some of that off and still, go out there and perform at a higher level. Like I look at a guy like Joe Burrow, man. I'm already putting this guy up into elite, upper echelon, elite status, man. After watching that game on Saturday, man, to get sacked 9 times and just keep picking himself back up and still getting the job done. I mean, he's behind a very bad offensive line, obviously, but he's still finding ways to make plays, man. And I know he's got some major weapons out there helping him out, but at the same time, he's got to still get the ball to him, and he figures out and he finds ways to do it. And also, he protects the football.
Hmm.
He took those 9 sacks and didn't put it on the ground one time, so something to be said about that as well.
Hey man,
But
I agree with you. Mac, thank you for calling in. Let the people know where they can find you. Obviously, like I said, the name is right there on his chest right now. Mac, the Giants fan.
yes,
Before
yes,
I let you go,
indeed.
man.
Yeah, it's just you find me right there, Mac the Giants fan, and I'll be doing the. I'm a wrestling fan as well. I'll be doing the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. I'll be having a live stream going on, just hanging out with a little watch
Wait, why
party,
is the
have
Royal
some
Rumble
fun.
on a Saturday instead of a Sunday?
I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it like that this year, but it's on Saturday night, and maybe because it's gonna run a little long, and they want to just I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
I know why. It's the championship weekend. They're probably looking at the
Oh
NFL.
yeah,
I literally just realized that's probably exactly why.
yeah, you're right. Because the second game would still be on before the Royal Rumble would
Mm-hmm.
start. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be doing that, and I'll be right now off season. I'll be just doing like maybe some random live streams here and there, and I'll always be dropping videos about just random news, breaking news. So we can pretty much find me right there. Mac the Giants fan, man. MACDA Giants fan.
Hey, have a good one, bro. Thank you for calling in, man.
Thanks a lot, Kush, man.
Next up, we got Benny. Like I said, then Hit Squad, then Vibes. I mean, Eli. You didn't hit me up in private chat, so I'm assuming you good for that timing. I always try to work the timing so everybody's fine with it. Benny, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Yo, what's going on?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Nothing much. Just waiting for this head coaching news. I don't know if you saw, we didn't we give the Bills defensive coordinator another interview
Yeah,
or whatever
I
recently?
saw people were saying it in chat, and I also just saw it on
Yeah.
Twitter. So Leslie Frazier did get a second interview, which I'm surprised by. But hey, they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. He's definitely not my first option, just because like the way although the Bills were like actually a pretty decent defense, I feel like throughout the year that scared me like that last game right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know if he'd be my guy. Right now uh I still want Brian Daboll, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. I like Flores also, but I would rather have an offensive coach. I'm not saying I wouldn't take a defensive guy,
Yeah.
but I'd rather have an offensive one just because like the defense I'm pretty confident in already. And I think there's actually a lot of good like defensive coaches actually on the market. Although there are some good offensive guys.
And real quick,
So yeah.
Vibe says Benny, you the goat, man. He wanted to let you know that.
Oh, thanks.
And then in terms of yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of good and a lot of more proven defensive coaches on the coaching market right now than there is the offensive guys. Even like I said earlier, for offensive coordinator, you're looking at a lot of position coaches more so than actual previous coordinators for the job. So you definitely got
Yeah.
it right there. Hey, what up, Nelson in the chat? AB, Mike, VT Gaming, and Bryson.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I prefer offensive guy just because like the way I feel like we have a lot of guys that need to be developed on this offense. So there are guys on the defense, but like guys like the reason I want a good offensive coach, we really need one, is because like guys like Saquon, I know he's looking not as good and not as like filled with potential right now, but he still could. We still have probably a year with him, like a good year with him, to see really if we want to keep him, and he still has potential. But mainly like a guy like Kadarius Toney, where like if we get a good offensive coordinator or offensive coach, I really think like his potential could be maxed out. Like I think we really got to find somebody that knows how to use their players to their strengths, and I just think Brian Daboll is like that. Like, did you see what's his name? Gabriel Davis got like 4 touchdowns like in that game or whatever, and Gabriel Davis is not like discrediting him. He's actually a very good receiver. But no, I don't think a lot of people were thinking he was going to get 4 touchdowns before the game. The reason why is because guys like Brian Daboll, they're able to use their players like that, and they're able to use players to their strengths. He uses Diggs to his strengths. He uses Josh Allen to his strengths. He puts his players in the good situations and lets them make the plays. And I think if we do that for our players, like Kenny Galladay, like Kadarius Toney, like Saquon Barkley, even still, and even possibly Daniel Jones or whoever our quarterback is, that's what will make this offense, make it way better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, William, I appreciate that, man. You guys make the show like great to do, and as long as you viewers are watching, I'm gonna continue it. And big shout out to Authentic in the chat. If you hear my voice sounding silky smooth, it's because he helped me set up the mic. And you guys should definitely check out Authentic in the Beard over on his channel. And repeat that last question real quick, Benny. My bad.
What was I asking? I'm trying to think. I was just talking about how, like, the players, I feel like
Oh yeah,
our offensive
development and
guys,
Brian
how they
Daboll,
can be
right?
really,
So
yeah, and how he uses them.
So here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about Brian Daboll's gonna come here. That doesn't mean Josh Allen's gonna come here, right? They're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
definitely.
Brian Daboll's, or they're speculating. I'm not sure what the right word would be. They're implying that Daboll's success in Buffalo has a lot to do with Josh Allen, which is true. That's a fact, right? That's a
Yep.
fact. But I'm gonna say what I said earlier. Josh Allen took 2 years to become the
Yep.
Josh Allen that he is today. That had to do with coaching. The guy that is in charge of everything with the offense over there in Buffalo is Brian Daboll, from managing it to creating it to coaching it up to helping the position coaches, get to his quarterback. And definitely he had to have had a close and great relationship with Josh Allen. Like, even Josh talks him up when they're talking about him being potentially hired and whatnot, right?
Yep. Yeah,
The
I
th-
mean Josh
yeah.
Allen's definitely talked up on that, but you continue.
Yeah, Sean McDermott's, like, everybody's talked this man up and had nothing but good things to say about him. But that's what fans got to realize. He helped make that offense what it is. Josh Allen has raw talent for sure. He's a guy that tapped into it. So I do think in terms of developing players, we could have somebody good there. But I want to say this. It's exactly what Ash just put in chat. You're going to be taking a risk with either of the two Bryans. You're going to be taking a
Yep.
risk with either of the two Bryans.
Yep, I agree. And I think one thing is that when it comes to Josh Allen and Brian Daboll, I mean Josh Allen came out as like a quarterback with a lot of potential, and it took some time to unlock his potential, but once they got it, he was really good. And then so I feel like there's like different sides of people. Some people say, "Oh, Josh Allen did it all," and Brian Daboll wasn't really that big of a part at all into his success, and he's just a really talented and good quarterback. And then other people say that Daboll completely built Josh Allen, and that Josh Allen was nothing without Daboll. And I think it's just neither of those. I think it's something in between where, yes, Josh Allen is very talented, and Brian Daboll was a big part and did a great job in developing him. Now, the thing is, I don't know if Daniel Jones is like a Josh Allen, because Daniel Jones, I'm not saying he can't become a good quarterback, but he does not have the athletically, like, he is talented actually, and he's underrated. He's pretty underrated with the running and stuff, but he just doesn't have like the arm strength of Josh Allen or just some of the athleticism like Josh Allen. He does have potential, but I just don't know if he can become like a top quarterback in the NFL. Not saying that he can't be the quarterback, not saying that he is going to be the quarterback. So it's
Yeah.
an interesting
And,
idea.
and let me say something real quick. Shout out to Amazing Guy in here. Richard says that your logo kind of looks like the boy version of the Wendy's logo, and it kind
That
of does. I'm
actually is
not.
funny. It does.
Yeah,
It looks a
it
lot like
does look
that.
like that a little bit. So this is what I gotta say to the whole. This it's not necessarily a response directed towards you, as it is just to Giants fans in general, right? We need to use the whole thing with Josh Allen and Daboll as just an example of him being good with quarterbacks and being able to develop them, create an offense around them that's successful and all that. And we need to stop and we probably should have said this entering Daniel's third year. We need to stop comparing Daniel to Josh Allen, whoever the future quarterback is, to that guy, because there's only one Josh Allen. What we should be doing is taking Daboll's experience and his results and saying he could help any quarterback reach whatever their ceiling and whatever their production could be, whatever their potential could be, because of what he did with Allen. Not saying he could turn a quarterback into Allen. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's not
Yeah, I
directed
agree.
towards you specifically as it is towards all Giants fans, because I've seen that happening a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Josh Allen's such he's a very interesting quarterback, and a lot of guys have like, I think it's a really popular thing right now with these really impressive quarterbacks coming out of college. These guys that their talent is crazy, and they might not be in the best situation in college. They might not have the best coaches. They might not be the most NFL ready, but the potential is high. And I really am confident that in the next few years, we'll definitely be able to find somebody with the talent level as Josh Allen. Like I think that's for sure. The question is, how are we planning on getting him? Because who knows? I mean, they could be a guy that's worth the number one pick. They could be a guy that's like a second round pick. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows where they're gonna be? The question is where do we think we're gonna like find it? Are we planning on finding it this year? Are we gonna try to find somebody earlier up and maybe try to get a higher draft pick? Uh, or are we trying to get somebody farther back and really take more of a risk probably because those guys will be uh, less refined as a prospect. So it would be definitely interesting. And I think if Daboll comes, I would just hope to see is give Daniel Jones one more year, build up the offensive line, make sure the defense is all good and all ready, and then depending on how Daniel Jones does, there's definitely like a 50-50. I feel like if you want to keep him for the future. If not, you probably invest some draft picks into a quarterback that next draft class.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Joseph. Thank you for tuning in. He has to go now. And what a Philippines exploration. Are you from the Philippines? Tuning in from the Philippines, man? And let me know. That would be pretty cool to know I got somebody on the other side of the world like that. I know your time is coming up to an end here, Benny, because you said around 10:30. So with these last 2 minutes,
I can go a little later, but if you have to get his squad in, that's fine.
yeah, I would need to get his squad in out of the way. But so like, let me ask you the two questions I've kind of asked. I think it was either Mac or the caller before, with regards to the head coach. You see the two pictures up, right? Who do you want out of the two Bryans? Who do you think will be better? And like, what would you see as the pros and cons to both of them?
I mean, okay. I think it's potential wise, like I would give it to. Ooh, that's actually hard, but I think I would just give it to Dable just because I'd rather have. I just think our potential is better with the offensive coach. Just looking at a lot of the coaches in the past few years that have been successful. A lot of them have been offensive coaches, although defensive coaches can be very successful. Look at Bill Belichick. I think Flores has like the higher floor. If you're looking for a guy that really just gonna change his organization, Flores completely changed the Dolphins organization. He's kept them as actually like a good team for 2 years, and yeah, I think Flores definitely, yeah, he's definitely has a higher floor in my opinion. Because I mean, who knows really how Dable is? Like for all we know, he could turn out to be Pat Shermer. So, not saying that he's gonna be Pat Shermer, but we never seen him head coach, and we've seen Flores be successful there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Flores has like some risks once again, as far as like I think we'd rather have an offensive guy, at least in my opinion. I think Flores like he was obviously successful at the Dolphins, but this year it took him like what? Like it took him like 8 games or something like that, where they were losing a lot of games. So it is something to look at. But I think at the same time, Flores is great because Tua has not been some top quarterback, and he's made that team pretty good. And Tua's like a lot like Daniel Jones, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could make this team pretty decent. And I mean they had like 10 wins one year. They just didn't get them to the playoffs because I think they got like kind of unlucky that year, where
Yeah.
there's a lot of good teams. But in I guess their division, or was it just in the AFC in general? But I think he definitely did a good job with them that year. And Daboll, yeah, he has the potential, in my opinion. He has the potential to turn. We've seen him, unlike we haven't really seen Flores turn a quarterback into some star, and we've seen Daboll do it. So that's like the pro of Daboll. And out of the two, right now I just lean to Daboll because, my opinion, it's all about ceiling. Because I mean, for me, if you think that you're not going to be able to win playoff games for the coach, which I'm not saying you can't do with Flores, but I think Daboll's the higher chance to
Mm-hmm.
be, or like almost like the more potential to be able to do that and win Super Bowls. I would go with the guy with the more potential, just like I would do that for quarterbacks. I would take the guy like with the talent over a guy that we don't think is ever going to be able to like win a playoff game for us and lead us to the 10-win season every year and get out in the first round.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying. I respect it. Like I said, Brian Flores, I feel like because he's shown that he could help turn a team around. You mentioned with the Dolphins. I mean,
Yep.
the Dolphins were not a good team when he got there, and he did
Yeah, exactly.
just
They
that.
were
He turned
horrible.
them into it. There is the issues with him. We don't know how true it is, but saying that how much did he really have to do with that turnaround this year and things like that. And with Daboll, of course, the risk is he was never head coach before, so he could either go like a rocket all the way to the moon or fall flat on his face. We'll see. But Benny, thank you for calling in, man. Any last
All
thoughts
right.
before I let you go? And let me get his squad in here.
No, not really. Thanks for having me on.
Guys, you know where to find him. The name is right there. Football Talk with Benny. And have a good one, bro.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Before I pop hit squad in, real quick, Philippines exploration. That is pretty cool, man. I got somebody, I know you say you're from the Bronx, but you're in the Philippines right now. I got somebody watching me all the way in the Philippines. That's amazing. I know it's like 11:30 over there. So, when the stream ends, if you miss anything, just take the YouTube slider all the way back as I hit my mic and catch the beginning. And same thing to William Ruffian. He's watching all the way from Dubai. It is like 7 there. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And let me get Hit Squad on. What up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, what's good, cuz? How you living?
I'm good. Where are you? Why do I not see you?
You can't see me? I mean, I got a picture up, but yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, like it's just a picture. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, it's just a picture. How you doing, man? Thank you for having me on the stream.
No problem, man. I'm doing just fine, guys. Check this man out. And I just recently learned he be making beats. So, you know what I'm saying? If
Man,
you
I
need anybody
appreciate
to
that.
make you beats, check him out.
And I got you too. I got the pack coming, so I
Oh,
apologize. I've
you
just
do
been
beat
mad
packs?
busy.
I would actually
Yeah,
buy a beat pack off you. I bet.
yeah. I got the pack for you, bro. No
But
worries. But man, I'm actually really excited. I'm really excited for this season. I've loved what we've done so far in terms of actually going through with the rebuild. It's really nice to see us not go the Giants way approach. I think you said it best. It's been dead, and I think that we all kind of knew that. I think it was just ownership that needed to realize that. And I know Mara didn't want to let Joe Judge go, but honestly, I think that's was for the best,
and
given the
and imagine,
situation.
bro, who would have thought we'd be sitting here saying shout out to Steve Tisch? Because if it was for Tisch, we probably wouldn't have had that clean sweep.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know that going into what was it last season, they were saying that Tish was going to be more involved with things than he usually is. So I mean, I want to give Tish a lot of credit. I also want to give Giants fans a lot of credit. I feel like Giants fans really played a part in not only Joe Judge being fired, but them completely going away from Kevin Abrams. I think that John Mara really does listen to the fans. I think that he does care, even if the product we put on the field is bad, to say the least. Um, but I'm really excited, and this offseason is going to be a lot of fun. Especially when we figure out who this head coach is going to be.
Mm-hmm. And who are you sitting with right now? Is it any of these two guys? Is somebody different, like Quinn? Like who?
I actually, I'm really torn between the two. I think that they both have pros in their respective positions, and I also think that they have some cons. I think that Flores, like Benny said, may have a higher ceiling. He has experience being a head coach. I know that his teams typically start a little bit slower in the season, but they fight. They fight week in and week out. You got to respect that. But for me, I am leaning more towards Daboll, to be honest with you. I think that and I really like Brian Flores, but I just don't know if the Giants would want to. I mean, and I'm not calling him Joe Judge, but go that Joe Judge route again right now, especially after just firing Joe Judge.
Mm-hmm.
I know that he's a Brooklyn native. I think that he would do well here. Um, my only concern with him is that he does tend to have a disconnect with his players. There was a report that came out that he had told Tua we should have taken Justin Herbert. I mean, I
The
just
thing is, that report, I just want to say real quick, it was proven false. What
okay,
that was is
perfect.
actually, I think it was somebody in the media. It's not even like they were lying on Brian Daboll's name. It was just somebody in the media making a joke on Twitter, and it got way out of hand. People took it out of context and started like talking about it as if it was a
Gotcha.
fact, right? And real quick, shout out to amazing guy in here. I'm not sure if I said gave him a shout out. I know you a WWE fan, so Mac the Giant Fan was gonna be doing a WWE stream. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, so real quick on the Brian Dable thing, just because of that, I'm like, so how much of these reports are true and how much are not? Like, do we
That's
really
very
know?
true. No, that's very true, and I definitely do think that, and I'll put it out there. I really do think that black candidates get overlooked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even with Flores, as accomplished as he was, I think that the way that the media kind of portrayed him for a little while, where he's disconnected, he could be hard to work with, which, I mean, you go through two OCs. I think they let go of Pat Flaherty or he retired or something like that. I don't fully
Mm-hmm.
remember. Um, but I don't think he's a terrible coach. Honestly, I really don't think Giants fans would be upset if they went either way. Now, I don't want a Dan Quinn. Um, Nothing against him. He's qualified. He took a team to the Super Bowl. But when you look at it, for me at least, it's how much of that was Kyle Shanahan. Because when Kyle Shanahan left, you saw,
Yeah,
and even up till
I,
now, that
I
offense
agree.
hasn't been the same.
I agree. I've even said the same thing. I'm like, there's a direct correlation between Kyle Shanahan leaving the Atlanta Falcons and them slowly, like, sort of just falling apart after that.
Yeah,
Like, there is a direct correlation.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that would be the only hire that, not the only hire, but one of the few hires that would probably get some Giants fans upset. I don't think there would be a lot of people upset if Flores was hired. You might have a few that are upset with Dable just because he's unproven, and we've been down the road of the hot OC. As bad of a head coach as Pat Shermer was, he was coming off a year where he took Case Keenum, to the NFC Championship, and that's
Mm-hmm.
Case Keenum. So, but for me, I'm leaning more towards Dable. I think that he could get a lot out of Daniel Jones or whichever quarterback we bring in. I expect Mitchell Trubisky to be on the roster personally. I
That's who
think that
you're
would
seeing
be
as the backup slash the competition.
Yeah, I think that you're gonna bring someone over that's familiar with your system. I don't think he's a scrub. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that he has some tangibles that you can work with. I think that if we are running the RPO a lot with Daniel Jones, Mitchell Trubisky could come in and do the same thing. He's
Mm-hmm.
athletic. In Chicago, he got out of the pocket a lot. He would run the ball a lot. He doesn't have the strongest of arms, but neither does Daniel Jones. Um, and I think that he's a pretty accurate quarterback. I'm not expecting him to come to be the starter, but he was once a starter just 2 seasons ago. And he's a
And
former
I'll give you
first round
somebody else
pick.
that was once a starter, kind of been relegated to the same role Mitch was. I said it earlier. What about a guy like Mariota?
Oh, I think that would be perfect. I think Mariota might be a little bit more expensive than maybe Mitchell
Let,
Trubisky would be.
let me see if I could
Um,
find what both of their contracts are right now. So let me look up Mariota's first.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Let's
I
see.
honestly, I would not be upset with Mariota. I think that
S-
he would fit perfect in this
So
scheme.
right
Or,
now with Vegas, he's on a 1 year, 3.5 mil contract,
mhm.
and then Mitch is isn't Mitch still on his rookie deal, or am I tripping? Oh no, he was with the
Let me
Bills. Yeah,
check.
he's on a 1 year, 2.5. So it's a difference of $1 million right now.
Yep, and with how our cap is, I mean, we got to save as much money as we can. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that we should be cheap on the backup position. I think
Oh,
that
definitely. Now
we
we saw how the backup position was very important this year. We saw.
Oh, I mean, we rushed to sign Mike Lennon, and granted, I mean, he did pretty well, not pretty well, but he did okay in Jacksonville. I mean, hell, a lot better than what he did with the Giants. So,
Mm-hmm.
I could understand the reasoning to sign him, but I think this year, if you're gonna pick up a backup quarterback in free agency, I would pick up the one that's more familiar with my system and how I'm trying to do things if I'm a new head coach. And I think Mitchell Trubisky, I don't think he's a bad player. I really don't think that he's that bad as some people may think. But I think that he could provide a little competitive edge. to Daniel Jones
Yeah.
if we do keep him.
Shout out to Miz in here as well, man. What up? And I think there
Man.
was a
Shout out.
comment relating to what we were talking about. If I scroll up real quick, was there? I want to say there was. Oh yeah. So just to relate to the quarterback topic in general, Authentic was saying that each quarterback Sunday put the league on notice. You need a real deal QB if you want to compete for rings. Daniel has 1 year to get to that, if that, which I agree with. For the most part,
Yeah.
it was kind of the better quarterback one, right? Of course, there's the glaring exception of Jimmy G, and Jimmy G has a great team around him. And Aaron Rodgers, I've been saying for a while, is a serial playoff choker. But for the most part, it was basically who has the better QB.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point that Authentic made. I think that this weekend really did put it put the league on notice that, one, we're going to be in very good hands. I mean, once Brady retires, usually, when you have a face of the league like a Brady,
Like the NBA is going
or
through it right now, dude. I feel like, just not to get too off topic, I do feel like the NBA
yeah,
would be in good hands as well when LeBron retires, but like
facts,
it's sort of the
facts.
same thing.
No, absolutely. Especially with the young rising stars, and in the NFL's case, the Burrows, the Herberts, the Mahomes, the Kyler Murrays. Like, I mean, you really do need, in my opinion, and it's hard. It's easier said than done, but you do need one of those quarterbacks to compete, with these teams. I mean, I get it. It's Patrick Mahomes. Don't get me wrong, but 13 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus Christ, I mean, most teams, I mean, when you score and you got 13 seconds left, like, that's it. You might kick it, there might be a Hail Mary, but when you have that elite quarterback playing, granted, obviously having the talent that the Chiefs have, um, I mean, it's going to be hard to stop you. I mean, even look at the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to give the Chiefs a run for their money.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe
I
Burrow
agree.
is playing out of his mind, coming off of a serious injury. So I don't think DJ could get to that, but I think Daboll could bring out. I don't want to say his ceiling in 1 year, but I think that we would see a big step forward from DJ compared to this past season.
And I'll say this, oh man, not a thought has slipped my mind. It was something you said before with DJ or with the QBs or something like that. I hate it when that happens. You gotta
Oh, it happens to me all the
you
time,
get a
all the
thought in your
time.
head and then it immediately just disappears out of nowhere, man. What?
Yeah,
We were
my
just
attention span is like a squirrel sometimes. So
we were just talking about.
believe me.
I'm trying to jog my train of thought right now, right?
Was it bringing
DJ.
the QB similar with the scheme bringing in by Dable?
Nah, but it was definitely some with QBs because that's all we were talking about. What else? What else?
Dang.
What other points did you bring up?
I had brought up that not being cheap at the QB, the backup QB position,
Yeah,
bringing someone in that's going to provide a competitive edge to Daniel Jones. Shoot, you got me there.
you know what?
I
I could do not.
apologize, man.
Nah, you can't even apologize for that. I could do nothing but move forward, I guess. So
Facts.
so yeah, we're I guess back to the head coaching search here. Where you at with it?
Yeah, I personally want Dable. I think Dable. I think it's his job to lose at this point. Um, they can't make any moves right now. I know that Flores, he's going to be what, Thursday, and
Flores,
then Graham is tomorrow on
something like that,
Wednesday.
and then Frazier has the second interview as well.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I really think that it's Dable's job to lose, unless, which I don't see it happening, but unless a team like the Saints or Miami or even, which I doubt, but even Buffalo for that case, were to give this man a bag, to go to their team or to stay with Buffalo. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way that he doesn't take this job. But I think it's really his to lose. I think that that's Shane's first choice. I think it makes a lot of sense. Um, Offensive coordinator is going to be really interesting because I know a lot of Giants fans want Ken Dorsey, but you're hearing that he may get promoted to their offensive coordinator. And I love the Giants, man. Believe me, I do. But if I'm a coordinator, am I going to want to go coach Daniel Jones or go coach Josh Allen
And
with
not
you
even
as a
that.
baller of the year? Yeah.
Going back to what CJ was saying, he's gonna be the play caller in Buffalo. Where
Yeah.
here, I think we could all agree Brian Dable will be the one being the play caller.
Oh, facts, 100%. You know, if we went with the defensive mind, I think whoever, you know, the OC is, obviously they're going to call the plays. But I think that if Daboll comes, absolutely, you know, he's going to call the plays. And, you know, again, it's a matter of, you know, do I want to coach Daniel Jones or, you know, go through that rebuild, or I could call plays for Josh Allen if he has a baller of a year, which I think that it's very much possible that he will next year.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly get a head coaching offer, you know, going into next season. You know, we see that these teams, it almost seems like the Rams lose personnel constantly, you know, to head coaching jobs, and they just keep going. They keep pushing forward. You know, I know that their defensive
It's something
coordinator
to
has
be
been
said to
monsters.
develop players, which the Giants have. They haven't been the greatest at, to say the least, in kind words
Yeah,
in these past couple of years. But it's another thing to also develop coaches, which is what you're talking about right now.
facts. Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, man, I mean, just looking at coaching trees, I mean, I know that, you know, Dable comes from that Belichick tree, not even really the Belichick tree, but you know, the Belichick side of things. But I think when you look at teams like, you know, like I said, like the Rams, um, I mean, there's other teams that you could throw in there where they develop their coaches. Their coaches go out there and succeed. I mean, Andy Reid is a prime example of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where, you know, you look at his coaching tree and his, you know, the coaches that have been under him, I mean, they've went out and been pretty successful, you know, in their own rights. So, you know, I'm pumped, man. I'm really excited to see who we bring in. Actually, do you mind if I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead, man.
Do you have someone that you would want to bring in as defensive coordinator?
Oh
I know that
yeah.
it's going to depend on who we
Listen,
hire, but
no, I got somebody that I really want. All right, I
talk to
made
me.
the whole video on it today, right? And I've been saying it since this man got released. Give me Don Wink Martindale from the
Yes,
Ravens.
sir.
Y'all know how I feel about the Ravens in general. I am jealous of fans of the Ravens. All right, the Ravens. They listen. Yes, their last Super Bowl was in 2012 or 2013, whatever. It's the 2012 season, 2013 Super Bowl. They're probably the best organization in football, or up there
Yeah,
for one of the best organizations in football, from their players and especially to their coaches. This man Wink coached a defense that was second overall ranked when he first got there. In his second year, was third. In his third year, went back to second. And his fourth year, which was this one, they faced a ton of injuries. I think I mentioned it earlier. Ton of injuries just across the board for Ravens team, not just the defense, and it was somewhere in the 20s. And maybe that's why he got fired. I don't know. But before he was the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, he was the linebackers coach for the Ravens. He was the linebackers coach for the Raiders back in the day when the Raiders had a good defense. He was the linebackers coach at a lot of places. Like I said, go check out a video I made today where I talk about it. But Don Wink Martindale is one of the best defensive minds in the entire NFL. And if he wants to make a lateral move to somewhere, I'm going to try and get him with everything that I
yeah.
can to try and get him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the more that I think about, you know, Martindale coming over here, players like McKinney will thrive in that defense. I think, you know, if Leo's here for the long run, or even just, you know, if we're talking about instant impact, Leo would do very well in Wink's defense. And
You want to
what I
talk
do
about
like, yeah,
pass rushers that would do well? This man made Odafe Owe, who, let's keep it real, when we were all talking about this guy last year, he was a second round prospect that had really just speed to his name and some athleticism, extremely raw. Odafe Owe was one of the best rookie edge rushers this year. Imagine what he could do with Azeez Ojulari, who had 8 sacks
man.
in his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's he's another player I'm looking at as well. I mean, shoot, I think that Aaron Robinson would do good in that system, and I know a lot of people may not agree with that, but you look at how the Ravens use their corners, and man, they are not only do they find their way to the ball, but they are aggressive. You know, they're fairly good tacklers, which I mean, I think that we've been improving in that aspect in recent years. I know
Hmm.
that, you know, when we had Pat Shermer, our corners couldn't tackle for nothing to save their lives.
James Betch, it almost
It was
feels like James
embarrassing.
Betcher was a dream, bro.
God, I don't even want to talk about it, to be
Yeah.
real with you.
Oh, yo, Hit
I
Squad,
mean,
my bad. I don't mean to
yes,
cut you
you
off, but I'm
good,
looking at the
you
time. I
good,
got about 10 minutes left. I'm
you
sorry to
good,
cut you off
bro.
like this, but I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap up because I want to get I want to get the last guest on, and then I could wrap up the stream, man. I'm sorry about that. I just beat the time.
No, don't even worry about it, brother. I appreciate you having me on. Y'all can find me at Hit Squad Productions on Twitter, YouTube as well. Hub, definitely got to get you onto the show. I appreciate you having me on the show. I've been trying to get on, but just been mad busy. But I appreciate you, bro, for real.
So when I pop you out, don't leave the StreamYard room because I want to talk to you about the beats when the stream is done. So just kind of stay back there in the room. But thank you for popping in, guys. And I'm going to get my last guy on here, absolute legend. You guys need to check him out. Vibes Eli Rax on Twitter. He's with New York Revival on YouTube. Go over there, sub the channel up. What up, Vibes? Actually, before Vibes on mute, I noticed that tonight every single caller has been some type of content creator. For anybody that's new in the chat, because I've seen a lot of new people, you don't need to be a content creator to appear on the show. Just hit that link, come on in. Everybody know how it's ran. It's usually just first come, first serve. So never be scared to call in. But go ahead, Vibes.
My man, appreciate you, man. It's a great one, man. But this is why I love your platform, and this is why I started New York Giants therapy sessions with you, man. Because you open your platform to everyone. So do I, especially on Twitter, man. So I thought that was just a great combination of bringing you in on that, man. So I'm glad you do that, man. It's a perfect thing to have, man. But thanks for having me, man. First time caller, long time listener.
Sure.
But no, man. Yeah, brother. What was that?
No, I was just like, sure, first time caller. Definitely first time caller.
But nah, man, I'm seeing everyone saying, man, listening to Benny, listening to Hit Squad, listening to everybody, man. And the first thing I just want to say, man, after you look at the elite level of NFL quarterbacks that was this weekend, right? You can't help but look at ours, right? And you look at some of the possibilities and you look at some of the glaring holes, and you got to understand that Daniel Jones could be an issue here, and we're stuck with him for one more year. We can't give him the $20 million option. We're gonna have to just see what he can do. So the best person as far as head coaching to come in here is the person that developed Josh Allen, because the first 2 years people were saying that Josh Allen could have been a bust at some point, right? But the coaches stuck with him. They developed him to become the Josh Allen that he is, and that's to coaching. So you want to bring the guy in here to try to fix this question mark, to give Daniel Jones this last hurrah to see if he's the guy. Because then at this point, you gave him the tools to be successful. Because now you had an offense of Pat Shermer that was actually pretty functionable with Daniel Jones to Jason Garrett. Now you have someone that's really a good offensive coordinator that's up to date, that's current, that could probably help DJ in some of these skill sets here. Definitely not Josh Allen. So people got to get that out their head that Daniel Jones is the next Josh Allen. It's not even close. They have two different skill sets. Josh Allen is more athletic, better accuracy, better everything, in my opinion. So with that being said, now you got to have Daboll come in here and be that best guy. Now it's up to the Giants and what ownership wants. Does the ownership want another rookie head coach to run this team? And then that's really the question. Because if not, then you got to look at Brian Flores. You got to bring Flores in here to be that successful coach, or you got to look at Dan Quinn. And a lot of people saying they don't want Dan Quinn, but he's a successful head coach.
He's his resume is one of the best out of everybody that we've interviewed.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So you have to look at that, especially that he took the Falcons 2 years into his career to the Super Bowl. And yes, even though Kyle Shanahan was that guy, but at the same time, you gotta let him trust. You gotta trust him to build his team. I mean, to build his coaching staff the way he wants it. And he has an eye for offensive coordinators. He has an eye for assistant coaches. So you gotta let him do his thing, man. So he's more accomplished. So that it's all up to the Giants. But what I would want personally is, if everyone's a big Daniel Jones fan, get Daboll. Because Brian Flores might not have the patience to deal with Daniel Jones or have the eye to bring in a proper offensive coordinator. Because again, history shows in Miami, he couldn't get the proper offensive coordinator to develop some of the quarterbacks that he had, especially Tua, right? So you have to bring in a Daboll for those Daniel Jones fans to see if he's the guy. Now, for me, I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy.
Eli, real quick, not just for the Daniel Jones fans, because I've been saying, a lot of people are saying if we bring in Daboll, it's just for Jones. It's for any quarterback that's here. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Absolutely.
Any quarter, because we went through this on Twitter. You were involved. I'm like, listen, whoever the quarterback is, the point of Brian Daboll is to make them the best version of themselves that they can be. That's what it is.
Correct. And then if Daniel Jones is turning out to not be that person, then you have to draft another quarterback in that following year, right? So that's what Daboll is for, because he can develop talent. So with that being said, give me Daboll. Daniel Jones isn't the guy because we looked at elite play, and then a lot of people go, well, Jimmy G is an average quarterback, but at this point, if we're judging success and accolades, Daniel Jones is trash compared to Jimmy G. Am I correct? If we're
Yeah,
judging by
if
success
we're
and
judging
accolades.
that specific second, we're right there, man. Accolades, Jimmy G. He's been to a Super Bowl, competed in the Super Bowl. Now it's second NFC Championship game. As crazy as it is, he just finds a way to win, or his team just finds a way to win.
Hmm.
Like, yeah,
And that's coaching too, and that's big up to Kyle Shanahan. But if we're having a measuring stick, and we all measure success in the success and accomplishments in the NFL as something as a measurement, then yes, Jimmy G is better than Daniel Jones. So why go in to a big question mark? Well, we can pretty much give him that 1 year, draft a quarterback that you're looking for, and have Daboll develop him. Brian Flores is the defensive guy. If you want to have a defensive guy in here to try to develop young players on the offensive side of the ball, then so be it. But again, it's Brian Flores doesn't have that eye of getting that assistant coach on the offensive side to actually get it done. Mine's Daboll and Wink Martindale. Let's get them in here. Let's fix this
Wink.
roster and let's go from there. Period.
Wink is that dude, and I've spoken about him so much tonight. I'm gonna let you give your thoughts on him, but I love Wink, man. You already know.
Man, Wink was my head coaching candidate before I think Shermer, I believe, came along. If I'm not mistaken, was
In
it Shermer year
2020,
or
no, 2020 in 2020, Wink was the guy I wanted us to hire.
yes,
Let's
that's
keep
who
it
it
real.
was.
Nobody
Yes.
had Joe Judge on their radar. Everybody
No.
had one of those guys from the 2020 like class of head coaches, right? And my guy was Don, and I was like, I couldn't believe he didn't get it. And now you're saying he was your guy too, but yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted him as a head coach in here before Joe Judge was even in here. And shout out Authentic, man, because I actually tweeted Authentic that, after seeing all his quarterback play, I was like, yo, man, you're right. We actually might need a new quarterback. I deleted the tweet because I'm like, I don't want people to be like, what the hell is screw Authentic? Because I know how people can get, at least from my particular page. So, but I deleted that thing. But shout out Authentic, man. He's been saying this for a while now that
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones could be the guy. And I was like, nah, man, I'm telling you, he got the intangibles. But the fact that he flashes, to me, I'm gonna use this analogy, and I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but every dog finds a steak dinner in a trash can, right? So even though he has these flashes and all these great games, we still don't know what he's capable of doing. Now, it could either be poor coaching or this could be the skill set. And at this point, the fact that if you're going into a big question mark, we got to move on from him. Or if you're gonna give him that chance, then you want to give him the best coach possible, and that's someone on the offensive side of the ball, and that's Daboll. And I know people don't like Daboll, some people don't, but you got to bring Daboll in here in order to try to see if that guy is really, truly it. And that's pretty much the point, man. That's all I pretty much wanted to say, because I was on Fisk's show going crazy for about 2 hours, man.
Oh, you were in that? You were in that earlier?
Oh my goodness, man! Fisk is all over the place. Shout out Fisk, man.
Because
He's
I'm
all over the
gonna ask you
place.
about that real quick. But first of all, shout out to Neil Believes. I really appreciate it, man, for the $10 super chat. He says appreciate you guys, and then 3 100 emojis. Hey man, appreciate you being in here, and the Ran Osman is in here as well. But yeah, how did that go? How did that go earlier today?
Listen, Fisk is he's all over the place. He wants Deshaun Watson, and yes, while Deshaun Watson could be a better quarterback, actually is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. And yes, if we was to get him, because his thing was, can we get him from a first rounder for this year and a first rounder for next year? I said, if that's it, you pull the trigger. But at the same time and token, with all the baggage that Deshaun Watson has, John Mara ain't going for it.
Mm-hmm.
John Mara's not going for it. Now, if John Mara really wants the team to change, etc., then yes, go get Watson, go do what you got to do. But then you still have to work on the offensive line. And to be honest with you, can we pick up an offensive lineman first round? Yes, we can do that. But I don't think, not to say we're too far off, but we have our left tackle. I think we need a center, and I think we need a right tackle. And then let those two plug in, and let's go from there and see what we got. That'll be my opinion of fixing the offensive line if we was to get a Deshaun Watson or even a Daniel Jones if that's back there. I think that's the way you fix the offensive line if you want to give picks away or whatever the case is. But Fisk is all over the place, man. Like after a while, decided to take a step back and was like, man, what the hell is Fisk talking about?
Did you
But
see
that was pretty
what
much the
Diggy
show today.
responded under his tweet, man? That one video clip with the guy in the red hat that had me dying. If you didn't see it, I'll send it to you after the
Yeah,
stream
please
is
send it
over.
to me because his tweets were just crazy, man. I was like, I was like, bro, you about to blast Boys to Men end of the road, man. You like real, like you got to see someone, man. He pulled out R. Kelly mix. I'm like, bro, you sure you want to listen to R. Kelly
I was like,
this day and
Robert
age?
Kelly?
What?
Why are you
Like,
listening
bro.
to Robert Kelly? What is wrong with you, bro?
I was
Nah.
like, yo, and you telling people you listen to Robert Kelly? Not me,
Exactly. What's
man.
wrong with you? Could never be me. I would never be
Hell
caught
no.
lacking listening to Robert Kelly, bro. Nah.
Never, bro. Listen, if you want to listen to him on your own time and no one knows, do your thing. I don't know. What doesn't know doesn't hurt me. You get what I'm saying? But he was
Exactly.
putting it on Twitter. I'm like, yo,
You
bro,
putting that
nah, I
out
ain't
in
going.
public, bro? Like, what is wrong with you, man?
I was like, yo, man, chill. You bugging out. Let me talk you from the ledge, man. You bugging out. Me and Pest try to get him out there too, but it's hilarious, bro. It's really hilarious. I'll tell you.
Hey, man, you guys heard it. You guys heard vibes, man. Check him out on Twitter. Tell him about New York Revival. And if there was anything else you want to talk about, let me know. We'll get it through right now.
Oh, nah, listen, man. If you guys can go subscribe to New York Revivals, a new show that's out. We're doing a little bit of twist on sports. Next week, we're interviewing Smoothini, America's Got Talent magician. He got his own show on the Fuse Network, Smoothini, where he does tricks in front of celebrities. He's going to talk about some sports. He's going to do some tricks for us on camera. He's going to have a good time, man. So we're going to interview him. And, of course, the usual suspects coming soon, like a Nate Burleson. All those big names that I'm keeping under wraps will be on New York Revival. And if you guys know me, I'll pull out everything. I had Dan Flores, all that. We're going to have him all that. So, yeah, if you guys pull up, man, support. And that'll be great. And also follow my Twitter, man. IG, I am Eli Rax, or Google Eli Rax. I'll come up there. So I appreciate you guys.
Exactly. You guys heard it. This man has had big names before. He's had Madeline Burke at one point, Brandon London, like he said, Dan Orlovsky. This man got everybody, bro. Make sure you go check him out.
Listen, man, I
Eli.
talk to a lot of people, man. So you
Yeah.
guys just never know who could pull up. So I appreciate that. And if you don't know Smoothini, go do your Googling, man. He's a great dude, great magician.
Hey, man. Eli, thank you so much, bro. Let me know when you get those special guests on. I'll definitely be in the chat supporting. You already know. And have no fear for anybody that is from the Twitter spaces that know therapy sessions. They'll be back next year, but I'm definitely sure we'll try and get them out whenever breaking news happens like we did with Joe Shane. So, hey, Vibes, thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Yes, definitely. We got to definitely do something in mid-season, brother. So we'll talk about it and we'll surprise the people for sure. Maybe we'll have a nice guest out pull up for us too.
We'll see. Have a good one, bro.
Have a good one, brother. Peace.
And like I said, guys, that is going to be the end of it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Very, very strong turnout tonight. There was a lot of support tonight. I really appreciate it. A lot of kind words in the chat, and I love the way the chat was moving. You guys were having great conversations in there. The show is not possible without all of you tuning in, without all of you just being here to support. Hitting that like button is a great way of just showing support and getting the stream out to everybody. So shout out to everybody. Definitely shout out to the callers. I see all y'all in the chat. Diehard Giants fan, Sober Party, amazing guy. The Ran, Authentic. Make sure you go check out Authentic now. Amazing guy. Viz Ed is in here as well. Lamar. Just scrolling up, I'm reading off these names. Did I miss anybody while scrolling up? Miz was in here. Ash. Make sure you guys check out Ashton. Just everybody that was in the chat. Have a great night, man. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for Young Guns, which will be on this channel. So